Hi kids, it's time for art class. My name is Miss Roz and I'll be your PACE teaching artist today. You might be watching me today in your classroom or you may be at home watching me online. In today's video, we will be making a winter landscape with evergreen trees. Evergreen trees are the same types that many people use for their Christmas trees. They do not lose their leaves in the winter season like some other trees do. We will learn what makes art be a landscape, and we will look at 3 different landscape paintings. We will learn some art vocabulary like foreground, middle ground, and background. We will identify the trees that are closest to us as here, the ones that are far away from us as far, and the ones that are pretty close to us as near. In our background, we will draw a night sky and have our stars make a picture like the ones in your reading stories. Those are called constellations. Lastly, if you want to celebrate our Christmas traditions, you can draw ornaments on the trees, but that is optional. This lesson will include some English language art concepts and vocabulary, and some science lessons on the night sky. The supplies you're going to need are a white piece of paper, a half sheet of green paper. If you only have this size, you can just fold it in half and cut because you only need half. You need your crayons, something to glue with, and some scissors. If you happen to have markers, those are optional as well. Now let's take a look at some famous landscapes together. This is the first landscape. It is called the Cornells Farm. Art sometimes has titles, just like authors give books titles. Can you name all the animals you see on this farm? There are cows, horses, pigs, and sheep. Also, I see the barn. Do you? Can you tell what season this landscape is in? Fall. How do you know? Look at the colors of the leaves and the grass. We know this is a landscape because it is a picture of the outdoors. When you can see the ground and the sky, it's a landscape. Sometimes landscapes show the mountains or the beach. Let's look closely at this painting. Can you tell me what is the closest thing to you in this painting? Those cows. Also those horses on the right. We call that the foreground because it is in the front. Front and fore mean the same. Everyone repeat after me. Foreground. Can you tell what is in the middle of this picture? The middle ground. The people and the trees. Those things are near. And way in the back is the background. Let's all say background. Can you tell what is way in the distance? The hills and the rows of gardens. So when things are far away from you, do they get smaller or larger? You got that right, they get smaller. The closer they are to you, the bigger they seem. The next painting is by a famous folk artist named Grandma Moses. She didn't start painting until she was 75 years old. It's never too late to become an artist. Is this painting a landscape? Yes, we can see the ground and the sky. What season is this painting show? It's winter. It snows in the climate they live in winter. I wish it would snow more often where we live, don't you? Notice the trees in this painting. Do you see the ones that have lost their leaves? And then the other one is an evergreen tree. Can you tell the difference? What is in the foreground? Remember that word? The front. The stone wall. What's in the middle ground of this painting? The house, the barn, the houses, and the people. And up near the top of the painting is the snowy sky, and that's called the background. Do you think this painting shows the present time or the past? It's the past. How do you know? Well, look at their clothing and their form of transportation. You can see by the horse and the carriage. This is a famous landscape by Vincent Van Gogh. Have you ever seen it before? It's called Starry Night. It is a pretty famous piece of art. In our background, we might be inspired by this night sky to draw some stars, the moon, like he did. We can draw it either in crescent shape, half, or full moon phase, and we can also make the wind like he did. Can you tell me what is the closest thing to you in the foreground in this painting? What's in the middle ground? And what's in the background? Are you getting used to those three words? Foreground, middle ground, and background. In our landscape today, we will be drawing the night sky. Have you been talking about the stars in the sky lately with your teachers or your class? There are patterns of stars in the skies that make pictures if you connect them. They are called constellations. Have you ever seen the Big or the Little Dipper? What does it look like to you? It looks like a big spoon or a little spoon in the sky. There are many other constellations in the sky, but these seem to be the most popular. Today, in our project, you can draw your stars to show one of these constellations, or you can even make up your own, and I will show you how. For this art project, you will need a white piece of paper, a half sheet of green paper lengthwise, your crayons, a pair of scissors, something to glue with, and if you have markers, you could use those as well, something to color with. We will be using the lines we have been talking about from our previous lesson. Remember these lines? Say them with me. Remember straight, curve, wavy. What's this one? Zigzag, dotted, and dashed. Good. So when I say these words, you'll know what I'm talking about. You ready to get started? Let's get our white piece of paper, and you need to write your name. I'm going to write my name with the crayon at the top. Can you write your name at the top with your crayon? Now let's turn it over. This is going to be our very own winter landscape. And like I told you, a landscape is going to show the sky and it's going to show the ground. Today, we're going to make a snowy winter landscape. So, snow is going to be on the ground. First, find your black crayon. And near the bottom, let's draw a wavy line from the left to the right. This is going to be the foreground. This is going to be the pile of snow that's in the front. So start on the left, draw a wavy line all the way to the right with the black. Snow is white, so that's good. We don't have to color our snow. Now there's some more snow, so I'm going to go up a little bit on the edge. There's another hill of snow. I'm going to do a curved line kind of to the middle. So from the edge to near the center. There's one hill of snow. That's kind of the middle ground. And let's make another hill over here. Start on the other side and come to the middle. So now we have snow that's in the front and snow that's in the middle. If you'd like to make one more hill, curvy or wavy, make one more. It's easy to see now where the sky is and where the ground is, right? The sky goes all the way from the top all the way to where it meets the ground. This is our horizon in the middle. Now we're going to draw the sky. Do you remember when we looked back at Starry Night and Van Gogh? He had a moon. So let's draw the moon. I'm going to draw it with my black, and then later we're going to color it. And you can use yellow or orange or any of the warm colors. So what phase of the moon do you want to make? Do you want to do crescent or full? And how many moons do we have? Just one. I'm going to do crescent. It's kind of like letter C, big letter C, and then little letter C. Do you see how you make that crescent shape? In art, we use our lines and our shapes to make pictures. If you made a full moon, what shape did you make? Circle. If you made a half moon, what shape did you make? Semicircle. We'll color that later. Next, we're going to make the stars. Do you remember how Van Gogh made the stars? He just drew little circles, so we're going to do the same thing. I want you to think of a constellation. These are those two popular constellations that we talked about earlier. Do you see how they're already connected? In real life, they're not connected with lines, but you can see where the stars are, and they make like a spoon. You see the little dippers like a little spoon, like you would scoop up some soup with, and this is the big one. If you would connect them, they would make a picture. So we're going to put our stars and make our own constellation. Let me show you some fun ideas that I did. Can you tell what shape I was making in this constellation? It's easy. Can you see it? I was just doing a triangle. Isn't that funny? How the stars, when you connect them, you can make a picture. All right, here's a little harder one that I did. Can you tell what this would be if we connected them? It could be a house, right? All right, use your imagination, and I want you to think about a picture that you can make with the stars. I might just do the Little Dipper. They had a star at the top. You make the one that you want just by putting little circles. There's the part of the spoon, and now here's the handle. You can see my constellation. Do you see my scooper? But you do the one that you want. What did you make? I can't wait to see. Now let's find a yellow, and we're going to color in our moon and our stars. If you want, you can leave them white, because you know sometimes stars are white in the sky, or you can use yellow or orange. I'm going to quickly color my stars so I can see where they are. And then the best part about Starry Night was Van Gogh drew the wind. Can you really see wind? Nope, but Van Gogh wanted you to see it. So after you color your moon and your stars, if you want to add some wind, They're just spirals. Have you ever made a circle and every time you get smaller and smaller? I'm doing it with colors like blue and purple because those are the cool colors in art. Sometimes the wind feels cool and you can just add some wind here and there. So our landscape is coming along. We have done the sky. Later, once we have time, we can shade this. Do you see how Miss Roz is coloring softly? You could choose any color you'd like for your sky. It is night, so I think a soft black would look good, or you could do a soft blue. I'm just going to color around my stars so I can see where the sky is. Do we need to color our snow? Nope, we're going to leave that part white. So this would be a good time if your teacher would like to pause it so everybody can catch up and finish coloring your moon, your stars, and color your sky. And then join me back once you have those things finished. All right, now we're going to make some evergreen trees. Evergreen trees are like the trees that we use at Christmas time. I had a sheet of paper and I cut it in half. That's all you need for this paper is just a half a sheet of green paper. And we're going to draw kind of like some Christmas trees. These are trees that are called fir trees, spruce, pine trees. Have you ever heard any of these names? Yes. And then you can pick your crayons and you can color these with any colors you want. I want you to think back to those lines that we talked about earlier. We're going to use these lines to make our trees more creative. We're going to try to use some zigzags, some waves, some dots, and make them very interesting. So everybody get your green sheet so we can make our trees and put it in front of you lengthwise. I'm going to use a black or a dark color to start drawing. What shape do you think our trees need to be? They look triangle. They're wide at the bottom and narrow at the top. So watch Miss Roz make her first tree. We're going to make 3 trees in our project, a large one, a medium, and a small one. If you have extra paper and you want to make more trees, feel free to do that as well. I'm going to start with the large one first. Let's start at the top and put our crayon at the top. Go down, slanting, diagonal. Near the bottom, there's one side of the tree. Here's the other side of the tree. And the bottom. How many sides does a triangle have? 3. Now, let's get creative. Let's think of some fun things we could do. We could put zigzags on the side of a tree, because they do have branches that poke out on the edges. We could do this, like make a big zigzag in the middle. That would be interesting. You could put waves, you could put curves. You can decorate the tree however you want. There's our large tree. I'm going to give you some time to finish that. If you want to add some circles to it, like a dotted line, you could do that as well. These are your trees and you can be as creative as you wish. All right, next is our medium tree. This one is not going to be as tall as the other one. I'm going to come down a little bit, and there's my top of the tree. I'm going to make my triangle. Slanted line on the left, slanted line on the right, and then line across the bottom. Maybe I could do curves this time. That would be interesting. What line are you doing? Make your tree more interesting. I can even do curves on the side, so our tree can grow bigger than the triangle that it is. Good. So far we have tree number 2 done. I'm going to change colors and do tree number 3. This one is going to be the tiny tree. So I'm going to start maybe in the middle. Pick a color that you can see well. Slanted line on the left, slanted line on the right, and a line across. Let's see, I've done zigzag, dots, curves. Maybe I can do wavy line. That's fun. Maybe I could do dash lines on the side, like little branches poking out. However you want to decorate your trees is fine. I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a minute to add some lines to the middle of your triangles and some to the edge to make them more interesting. If you have more space and you want to make some different sizes, feel free to make whatever size you want. Now, when we glue our trees, we're going to have to put them in the right place for our landscape. Remember when you told me that things, when they were far away, they get smaller? Right. Well, guess where far away? What tree gets to go far away? That's our little tree that's going to be far away. When you're finished decorating your trees, we're going to cut them out. Find your scissors. I'm going to cut the whole triangle out first. And then if you want to get more creative and cut in between the little zigzags, you can, but you don't have to. That will take a little time. I just go cut this way and then I cut in. I move my hands in and out to make a zigzag edge. And there's my large tree. Then I'll cut out my medium tree. And then my tiny tree, 3 different sizes. Later, once we've glued them, this is optional. If you would like to put Christmas ornaments on them or stars, you can do that as well. Does everyone have their 3 trees? Can you tell which one is the largest? Which one is the smallest? Good. It's time to glue. Let's find our landscape. Now, the first tree I want you to glue is your tiny tree. So take out your tiny tree. This tree is very, very far away in our landscape. If you're standing here in the front of the snow, this tree is way, way the furthest they could be away from you. Now, it can't be floating in the sky, right? Because trees need to put their roots into the water. So this tree is actually going to go anywhere near the very top of the snow that you want. You could put it on the left, you could put it on the right, you can put it in the middle. So turn your tree over, apply some glue. I just put a little bit of my glue stick, or if you have liquid glue, 2 or 3 dots is good. And then glue your tiniest tree wherever you want it in the landscape. I'm going to put mine way on the right, way over here. Your trees can be close together or they can be far apart. It's your choice. So we're going to say this tree is our far tree. Can everybody say far? Can you spell far? F-A-R. The next tree I want you to glue is your largest tree. Find your largest tree. This one's mine. This one is very close to you. So in a landscape, usually the things that are very, very close to you are near the bottom of the page. So this tree is going to go really close to the bottom. I'll leave a little room so I can draw his trunk. You can put it overlapping if you'd like, a little bit here. It can cover up that because that's how trees are in real life. So choose your largest tree. Put your glue on the back and decide where in the front you're going to put your largest tree. We're going to call this the tree that is here. It is right by you. I'm actually going to put mine right in the center of my landscape. Great. Now I have one tree left. I don't know how many trees you have left. And here's my middle one. This one goes in the middle ground like we were talking about. The small trees in the background, the big trees in the foreground, and this one is in the middle. So anywhere in the snowy hills, you can put those. It can go right here if you wanted to overlap, or if you want to space it out, you can. So glue your middle tree not at the top, not at the very bottom, but somewhere in the middle. Great. If you have a brown, you can make its trunk. Sometimes Christmas trees have a small trunk. Sometimes they're tall pine trees, so your trunks can really be however you want. So I'm just drawing that into the snow with a brown color. If you want to be decorative, you can add stars at the top of your tree. You can add ornaments. This is where a marker sometimes does best. If you have a marker, it shows up better on top of the crayons. But that's entirely optional. You can draw little circles on your trees. You can make little stars on your trees. You can have as much creativity as you want. Great. I think we're all done with our landscape. If you want to add more wind, that's entirely optional to you. I might use some other purple colors like this. Great. Y'all did a great job. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed making your winter landscape. With each lesson that we have been learning more and more about how our whole world is made up of lines and shapes, and how artists use lines and shapes to make art. Show your art to someone or display it in a place where others can enjoy it. Having art around makes the world a more beautiful place. I hope to see you soon where you can see another creative or visual arts movement lesson.